Afternoon, guys. It's Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft. Today I'd like to continue the beginning bushcraft series. In my last piece of kit, I talked about bringing out, the little things that you need. Well, in this one we're going to talk about a fire kit. Last one we talked about a compass. Now, the one skill you need to learn more than anything else is how to build a fire. We're going to get to that. But the first thing we need is a fire kit. Now, what I believe would be a good starting kit for you right now at this level of starting out is 3 sources of ignition, 3 kinds of tinder. Now, of those 3 sources of ignition, 2 of which need to produce flame, 1 of which can be a friction. Of your tinders, 2 of which need to be able to light when they're wet. 1 can be just a regular tinder. Now let me clarify that a little bit, and I'll show you what I carry in my kit. Now, when I say source of flame, ignition, 3 sources of ignition. A lighter produces flame. Okay? Matches produce flame. A ferro rod produces sparks. So 2 flames, 1 spark. In tinder, a dry tinder is like dryer lint, like I told you in the first one. Get you some dryer lint. It's everywhere and it's cheap. At least 2 of your tinders need to be wet tinders, something that will ignite even when it's damp or wet. I personally carry fire straws, which are cotton-soaked Vaseline, inside of a container. You can also make up your cotton dipped into paraffin wax or beeswax or something like that. Also, I carry a piece of lighter. We call it fat lighter down here because sopping wet, I can sit there and shave it down to shavings. It will catch a spark, it will ignite and burn and produce a nice flame. So, in my fire kit, what I carry in my little haversack is I carry a lighter, sometimes 2. You'll hear the argument, they're not reliable, they don't work when they get wet, they don't work when they get cold. All those smokers can't be wrong. I've seen these things work in below 0 conditions. Put it in a pocket, keep it warm, keep it dry. If it does get wet, blow it out, put it in a pocket, let it dry out, it will produce flame. But you can't tell how much is in it, so have a backup. Waterproof matches inside of a match case. Now, what I do is take your matches. The emery on the side where you strike it, you want to cut it off of both sides. Take your match safe and take that piece of emery. Let's pretend that this is that emery. This is the side you would strike the matches on. Fold it in an L configuration like that and slide it into the match safe, the first one. Now put your matches in. Now fold the other side in an L and slide it in that way. That way when you open it up, you pull out your emery right there. Slide it out here. I shake out a match to strike it. If for whatever reason my hand slips, I'm tired, whatever, and this emery goes shooting off into space over yonder, I got another one trapped in the bottom that I can't get out until I take the matches out. That's good insurance to guarantee you're going to have a way to make a fire. My third form of ignition in this kit is my ferro rod, which I have tried and true and I know will produce a good spark. Now, when I'm just playing around trying to light a fire or whatever for me time or whatever, I'll use a ferro rod to practice with the skills. Never trust a friction method if you have any other choice when it is honestly life and death. When you're sitting there hypothermic and excuse me, When you're sitting there hypothermic, you're cold, you're wet, and you're damp, and you need a fire now, is not the time to try to practice with a ferro rod. Pull out a damn lighter or matches and get the fire going. If you do not have these, then fall back to this. This is a real honest to God fire starting tool and can be a great friend and a great skill. This is what you go to when it really counts. If you have it. If you don't have this, you practice with this. See, this will teach you skill. This is your bailout. This is your insurance. Now, you also need to carry your 3 sources of tinder in some sort of container. One of these small waterproof containers they've got out right now at Walmart is a good source of something to keep your tinder absolutely dry. Now, as I said, 3 sources of tinder, 2 of which that can be lit when they're wet or damp. This is my tinder kit. Back in my days of living history. In here I have char cloth. I have some finely shredded cedar bark. I have a block of lighter, and I've got 7 fire straws. These fire straws work sopping wet because the way they're insulated, water can't get into it. I cut it, light it, fray it out, put a spark to it, whoosh, there it goes. The sun's coming out now. Char cloth will catch a spark. The shredded bark will catch a spark, and that block of wood in there, I can shave it down from sopping wet and will catch a spark and burn. Simple and easy. Your fire kit does not have to be huge. It does, however, have to be functional, and it has to be small enough that you're going to carry it. Not so big it becomes cumbersome. Okay? Now, if your entire fire kit can't fit easily into a shirt pocket, it's too big. That's simple the way it is. It should not be a burden for you to have your kit. So, dryer lint, put it in an aspirin bottle, medicine bottle, something like that. Make up a fire straw, like I show in one of my videos, and if you'll look at my videos under fire straw, I'll show you exactly how to make one. Buy tinder if you want to. The Surefire cubes are really good. They're cubes that are used for lighting barbecue grills that are sealed up in packets. Those are good. Get you a piece of fat lighter or lighter wood. Don't go ahead and shave it down. Leave it in a block form, because the essential oils and stuff that have fermented as the tree has aged, they'll evaporate. It doesn't on the core, just on the surface. So after you've had that block in your kit for a while, it'll dry out on the outside. Don't worry. If you'll take your knife and shave down, you'll get back to the good stuff quickly. Or when it really matters, start splitting it into pencil fine shavings. You can use it then. So, let's recap. What you need for your fire kit is, you need 3 sources of ignition, 2 of which that produce flame, 1 that can be friction. You need 3 sources of tinder that you're going to carry with you. 2 of those need to work when they're damp or wet. 1 can be dry or lint or whatever. And as you go on your journey and you've reached an area, gather up tinder here. I don't have to, use my tinder I've got right here. When I fall back onto this is whenever everything's damp and marginal. I can't find anything I really need. I've got a tinder right there. I can light that fire straw and it'll burn 4, 5, 6 minutes. The ones I've got magnesium powder in can burn 12 minutes. That gives me enough time to pile up some marginal little finely shaved sticks and get a fire going. Now, we're going to talk about fire next. I'm going to show you how to do a simple fire lay and the basic ideas so you can get to practice. But for right now, work on your fire kit. Get it small. Get it for something that'll fit in a small area. Don't get this big huge friend. One of my students named Forrest, yes, I'm picking on you, Forrest, when he brought out his fire kit, it barely fit in the backpack. It was a ball of dryer lint the size of a basketball, 5 lighters, several other things. I think he had a year's supply. But that's what he wanted to tote to the field for a fire kit. He was a little nervous he wasn't going to be able to make a fire. Practice with your fire. Get out on the the driveway. Don't make a big production, and don't practice in the house. Get someplace where you can practice with your ferro rod. Practice your fire lays. Look online and see different fire sets, the TP firing, etc. And I'm going to cover those. And find confidence in your ability to build a fire, because that's one of our biggest skills that we need to have when it really counts, is being able to build a fire. It gives you warmth, it gives you light, it gives you calm peace to know that the things out there in the dark ain't gonna get you. It helps people looking for you find you, and it helps you cook your food. A lot of advantages to a fire. I hope this helps, guys. I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft. Wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day.